was the problem in game number 1. However, sometimes when you have gone through a 0-2 versus LNG, you're losing the first game versus JDG, sometimes you want a refresh in the way people think, shot call, play the game, and way being subbed in seems to have given BLG a different flair in that early game that they're really much needed, going especially 0-1 down versus JDG this time around. Sheer onto the Renekton.
I think that 2-1 loss to LNG was really difficult to handle for BLG, and that's where a lot of the question marks came, because LNG have looked so dominant. Mid lane was supposed to be a strength, so that's where like the question marks still are there for BLG, even though they quieted them a little bit in that second game. It's immediately the blind pick Renekton for Sheer into the Tristana that we saw be so lethal last game as well for BLG.
Very, very surprising that JDG do not value having Yagao onto that Tristana, one of the most dominant mid laners in the current meta as well, paired up with Way this time around onto that brand. Are you gonna pull out a Kha'Zix again and just chase Way around the map same way? Most likely not gonna be the case. His Nidalee is gonna be banned out, so it's gonna be the Lilia this time around. They do prioritize Kanavi here, one of the AP picks, before those get banned out too.
Yeah, I think with the way the latter part of the game and that game 1 went, it was a miracle that JDG won that one. So I don't think going back to the Kanavi Kha'Zix will be seeing that anytime soon. At least more consistency with the Lilia. And they also go with the Corki, which has been a decent answer into the Tristana. Now we see the Gnar as the lock-in, and the answer for Bin into Sheer's Renekton.
I love seeing these top players just going toe-to-toe. And Bin, very known for his Gnar as well, playing into that Renekton, a very prominent pick in general, that Renekton into the LPL. I feel like every single top laner in the LPL would be very happy with the B1 Renekton. However, right now, both the ball laners have been completely ignored. The Leonas, the Misfortunes, the Kaisers, the Ezreals, the Ashes, the Broms, all in the pool.
There's a lot of options. The will be dwindled down a little bit as we see, because the Ashe, having been a really, really powerful tool in the LPL so far with the Enchanted Chrysalis later on, he's going to be denied. I do wonder if we continue to get maybe like the Ezreal ban come through and things like that. It is the Misfortune first and foremost, though.
I feel like the Ezreal ban is going to come from JDG. It's very telling, banning the Kai'Sa from BLG, that they're probably looking for an R4 Ezreal into an R5 counter pick onto the support versus JDG. The Brom is also available, one of the most prominent picks that we have seen. However, when you do look in the Brom, in terms of having a more strong laning phase, this kind of takes down a lot of the engaged potential that you do have. And for BLG, we've previously had Way onto the Maokai. Right here, there you go, the Kai'Sa ban translates straight into the Ezreal. Your primary engage will most likely be that Gnar, and it's not a guaranteed because you need that Mega Gnar form to make it perform. So they go for something like the Brom right here. I'd be a little bit worried in terms of their engage tools.
All right, it's going to be the Jhin, 4th pick for JDG, and maybe taking a little bit more of the strength away from Ruler. He'll have tons of setup potential there, but it's going to be all about what Ruler and Missing provide for the rest of the team here, as the Leona was also locked in.
Ezreal Brom, one of the strongest lanes down the bot side of the map. Now, of course, Brom is really, really good in terms of like a lot of auto attack 80 carries. However, Jhin only has 4 shots, so Brom doesn't get to block much of that damage coming through. The Jhin, the Ezreal right here, we're talking about needing that engage, and picking that Brom right there would take down a lot of the tools that you would have to advance forward for BLG, needing the Alistar here together with Bin's Gnar to try and get the party going on those team fights.
This series has delivered exactly what we would expect. You have to remember that JDG have not beaten BLG this year, and it was a series of dominating victories against BLG in 2023 that reigned in the era of big brother versus little brother in this matchup. And BLG, they silenced all of that by taking down their nightmares of JDG in spring, moving on in the regular season after a nice victory over them to going to claim the crown in that playoffs, and now for their first ever time being the reigning champions of the LPL. A ton of pedigree, a ton of pressure in a single round robin where only the best of the best are here to represent in Group Ascend. And I think Way, even though he had a very strong stable game on that first one, is going to have to represent even stronger on this one. The brand, a massive tool that we've seen so many team fights go the way of. But it couldn't be more exciting than this, Trouble, and I couldn't be more excited to get into a culmination of this series. The only time we'll get this one unless we get into playoffs. And it's going to be a Game 3 on the horizon between Bilibili Gaming and JDG. Get a little bit more discoordinated. You know, we're all super focused on the game, right? Like, we're all looking at the level ones, all the setup, all the tension. But truly is a tensionful moment.
Hey, cheering is fun in games. But right here, JDG might be making history, at least for the 2024. Being BLG for the first time ever. BLG, of course, wanted to continue the reign. You worded it so nicely as we're loading into the game. JDG right now. I wanted to point out how they have Kanavi back onto the Lilia. He had a very statement game on the Lilia versus NIP. That was a very slow game, actually. It was JDG back to their roots, playing a more slow, calculated game, scaling into their items and trying to play for team fights. However, a lot of the teams have tried to play team fights versus BLG, and it just never works out because they're just very good at coordinating around those team fights. We know them to be the kings of team fights. Kanavi here has a lot of setup towards that bot side of the map and a lot of setup towards the bot as well. Invade coming straight through.
Was spotted out by the ward there, so Wei maybe looking to try to stop this here. He already has the red buff. Already. Will be spotted out. Go jungler. Going at it over this blue. It's Kanavi that's taking the worst end of the trade now. Did end up hitting the blue buff there. Missing now in some trouble as well. Taking a lot of mystic shots from Elk. That's all that comes of it. And JDG, they'll score a little bit more here on that one.
He does lose his flash, however. And you do have a Tristana in the mid lane that can very easily shove in a wave and roam together with Wei. He'll be very easy prey in his jungle without the flash available to him. However, that bot lane ruler and missing. Well, the Jhin and Leona, respectively, have shoved in that lane. Of course, Elk and On moved a little bit earlier on that lane to try and get into the aid of their jungler being invaded. And so far, Kanavi's gonna get spotted. They will know that he's heading towards the top side of the map. As you'll see, pings coming in from Sheer as well. Pointing that red buff. It's gonna be gone. Wei was spotted with the red buff, so they do know it's missing.
And welcome to the new age Azir versus Corki matchup. It's Tristana versus Corki, as you saw, 21 versus 29 there in 2024 so far. So a lot of games played of these two, and it's been the most wanted trade, I feel like, a lot of the times. Now we look at Wei, who is taking a masterclass move down here. Ruler missing, are still unsuspecting, but the problem is Elk and On are so far away, they can't really get an angle to get an engage.
Oh, when the wave was cleared out, JDG's bot lane did not have to pressure any longer. The second they saw On head into that brush, pushing aggressively, they were like, hold on a minute. They did spot Wei come down from a ward, so they knew that he was towards that bot side of the map. Also, that ward that Sheer planted towards the top side pretty much guaranteed you that Wei has not made his way back towards the top side of the map. Now it's gonna get spotted by Knight, hitting that ward plant right there, and Wei is gonna get out by still in a camp.
Might as well, while you're here, munch down on some chicken nuggets. Other thing, though, to think about is we did just get a reset from On back onto the map with the boots. We are getting the path up towards top side by Wei, but Dragon is coming up with Kanavi pathing down towards bot side.
He's not gonna find anything in his jungle for the time being, and that is the scariest time for a team. He's gonna take his reset right there, his first reset of the game.
He's okay.
However,
okay. Oh, maybe he's not.
Oh, he's got that.
Oh, Sheer! Oh, Sheer, he went the right way. Okay, slice of dice. Bill doesn't know what he's doing, so he doesn't get the wallop in the end, and Sheer survives. That was so close.
Ooh, very, very close on the solo kill right there from Bin. And you can see how strong it is playing as Mininar into the Renekton. So much hurt went on to Sheer. couldn't quite follow up to get the kill. Doesn't burn the flash either, so all in all, it's just gonna be an exchange of teleports up towards the top side of the map. Now is the time that both the supports are going to start moving towards the top. On is looking around mid lane, as you can see, missing. He's heading towards the top side. Ooh, maybe a cheeky lane gank come through.
Yeah, this could actually be really big. We've seen the influence that like a singular gank towards topside can bring here in this meta. You also have a lack of vision, at least on this lane gank. So missing will be unspotted as Ben steps forward. You also had the collapse potentially coming from the rest. They don't see him. Kanavi's here. Ben trying to hop away. He's going to have Mega Gnar soon. He has the ulti. He's going to try to use it in the wall. Uses it away. Missing was on the other side. Wallop comes down on 2. And Ben, he gets the outplay. Giga Ben activated as the Dominus is popped. He gets shut down in the end, but you'll take that.
Oh, you absolutely do. Ben with the outplay, 1 versus 3. That frees up Elkin on that bot lane as well to push Ruler off the tower. Ruler is losing so much for that play. And in the end, it wasn't really too much that JDG managed to win over from that play. The Void Grubs are going to go down in their favor. However, they're going to be traded instantly from BLG with this dragon on the map. And Ben, you don't mess around with one of the best carry top laners in the LPL,
Oh, wait. Almost just dies, ends up having to burn the flash there. So even being rebuffed out of the jungle a little bit by Yagao, he will not stop, though. He thought he was going to complete the back. They will try to find Kanavi going on an aggressive path of his own right.
Kanavi spotted right there.
Angry kitty. Oh, hello, old friend. Nice to see you.
The JDG sticker coming now from Knight. It wasn't just Tien that was refreshing his gallery of emotes as he went into the game. It's also Knight. Bin gets caught, but luckily for him, bomb player right here hits. And also, you've got the Mega Gnar coming through, the resurgence of HP. Pin's missing under the tower and missing with no flash because he had to commit it for the engage. Ends up going down. Bin takes those anytime. Just about the Dominus comes through. Kanavi snipes him through the wall. The crowd.
I mean, honestly, we're all just better for these games tonight. Like, first top esports having some of the most fun games. Now Ruler and Elk giving us a little bit of fun here as the curtain call opens up. Elk needs to put on his best dancing shoes and walks right out of the curtain call. Ruler throwing up the surprise Teemo in the end, this 1v1 here. But it really is a beautiful series to have been a part of, and we still have this last game to culminate it with, but both these teams putting everything on the line so far.
And Elk, I think he's pinging assistance towards the bot side of the map. He knows that he's quite low. They're towards the top side again. Bin about to get Mega Gnar. He's got on and way around.
9 Yagao going at it again. They're looking for the dive on top. Kanavi is here, has Lilting Lullaby. If you can get all 3 of them here, but already down is Sheer, and Kanavi wasn't even able to be a part of anything.
You have to pre-buffer your ultimate onto Sheer right there. Try to get as much HP as possible before you get pinned down. He died onto the CC chain. Kanavi wasn't even able to get himself into this fight to try and ultimate anyone that gets tagged by any ability. Sheer goes down, another kill going to the side of Bin. Now, a little reminder right here, Bin was about 4K up in the previous game, way before it ended. And he made a huge statement game onto Kennen. Right now, Gnar has the exact same, I guess, resources. 1K up already, 9 minutes in. Very, very close to that first item as well. Going back with Fates and a couple of components.
Yeah.
And Sheer has been drawing the shorter end of the stick in those top lane fights.
And the thing is, Ben is going to have a ton of side lane access now as well. You get a couple kills there for the Gnar, and you're going to be feeling a lot better. Obviously, Sheer will still have some backline access of his own right against a couple marksmen, but it's going to be a lot harder to pull off. And you're going to have to find a way to deal with the side lane pressure the BLG will have. They are looking to deal with a little bit of side lane pressure on bot side, though. And I specifically am watching at these next moves from both Wei and Kanavi, because there's another set of those grubs coming up in about 45 seconds. It would be all 6 for JDG.
And Wei has his sights towards that bottom map. Ooh, he didn't quite sweep the ward. So JDG's bot lane know that Wei's towards that bot side. They're not going to make it too obvious. Great ward placement right there. Not sure if it was from Missing or Ruler, but it's just about off of the vision of the two control wards that BLG have placed towards that bot lane. Kanavi towards the top side of the map. You said very important what their movement is on the map, and BLG will have the first move towards the top side.
So let's take a look at how these fights come together, especially looking at 5v5s, because, again, you have all these marksmen. It's a lot about positioning, but it's also a lot about the setup. And you have huge wombo combos to get all that damage down for BLG. It's a little bit more of that hair trigger for JDG on the other side, primarily kicked off by Missing.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Ruler, he's already 1-0 up on the solo kills. Ooh, just about doesn't hit the root. But BLG are in the river. Bin about to turn mega.
They don't want to give over the 6 grubs. They're going to pull the trigger. They got him. Way's gone. Now they just get the big Megadar. And Bin is unstoppable here. Sheer tries to get the lockdown. Sheer's going to get Knight. But Bin is still fighting him. Double knock up there. You mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns. And now you get double kill for Sheer. He's still on fire. And it's not going to matter either way. From the brink of insanity, Sheer gets a ruler. He takes down Elk in a solo kill. And JDG, they're running away.
That was an unofficial ace by JDG. Get first into the river, and Bin, he had everything he needed to carry this fight. However, JDG and Kanavi flashing forward. Again, huge clutch play from the JDG top laner. Bin coming back for the revenge play.
Sheer maybe feeling himself a little bit. He's going to try to TP out, and Bin can't do anything about it. Sheer makes it out alive. Does have to burn that Summoners.
Hey, it's a TP for a TP. You take those. BLG are going to get their second dragon of the game, stacking the map to 2. And I really hope we get to see a replay of that. And also the Ruler solo kill onto Elk. That'll be the second one of the series. Yagao under a little bit of a fire right there. Missing is around, has to take the long way around. Of course, the safe way. Kanavi and Ruler towards that bot side of the map as well. Yes, let's see that replay over again. On. Finds Kanavi, Bin straight onto him as well. Doesn't quite have the bar to transform into Mega Gnar, which allows Kanavi to flash forward and get a 3-man sleep onto BLG, which then allows Yagao and Seer to dump so much damage onto Knight. And once Knight is out of the picture, sure, Gnar is very strong, but you've got 3 constant sources of damage onto him and a lot of peeling from the Leona. Ruler finds out yet again. He's got his number.
Oh,
hits
my
the root.
goodness. Gets the flash out. Elk was putting everything he could to try to get away from that one, but the flash, it's the difference, and the force shot, of course.
Ruler, second solo kill onto Elk. He's had his number this entire series, 1-0 right now. Left alone in his own devices down in the bot lane, but still with a lead. Knight right here trying to get a lead for himself, grabbing another tire plating onto that mid lane, and JDG, a pretty good fight to put them around 1,000 gold in the lead. A much better composition, if you will, to actually try and play towards these team fights versus BLG. You do have many gold buttons and a lot of damage sources coming through that top side of the map for JDG. So definitely it's not a clear-cut win for BLG when it comes to those team fights. On is going to have a lot of work to do finding the right targets to pin down.
Also just really like the approach that JDG have brought so far in this one. A little bit standoffish, trying to catch where they can, but that's also the kind of single target access that they will have. They make one decision, they can catch the right person, and that's the difference in these fights because they have all that CC chaining to do and all that backline access itself. Rift Herald is up, and JDG gonna start it up.
Oh, get ready for round 2. Knight is TPing over in the mid lane. Bin is trying to charge up his bar. This time around, Kanavi does not have the flash available. If he gets caught onto the river by On, he could be going really south.
Unbreakable will pop. That's a double sleep. Solar Flare going to go a little bit wide. On is trying to body block Sheer from the backline. Missing is almost down. Bin trying to stack up the Mega Gnar, and it might actually mean the JDG aren't as confident to move forward. They've used a lot of their ultis as Sheer's dominance is going to be coming down. Rift Herald is going to go the way of BLG.
JDG tried to sneak in there to steal it, but BLG are using raw numbers and their bodies to brute force their way into that river. And Bin, being the huge threat right there, hadn't used his Mega and was about to transform as well. Missing very low on HP, you could not potentially walk back in. No way.
Not again.
No way. You know what? I never know what to expect because that Ezreal play from game number 2, I also was not expecting. So with Ruler, you never know. Oh, we're getting the zoom in. We're getting the zoom in.
It's the 1v1 we could have wanted for. Curtain call going to be used. Elk needs to dodge these this time, but no. One more shot. Fourth shot, not the charm. Elk makes it out alive.
Man, Ruler's putting so much pressure on Elk on those 1 versus 1s. You'd say that Ruler's actually enjoying himself playing that 1v1 of the Jhin versus the Ezreal. It's looking very favorable towards Jhin, at least with Ruler playing that Jhin and piloting the champion around. However, back to pretty much dead even. Again, for BLG, when it comes to team fights, it's not enough to be 100 gold, 300 gold, 5,000 gold. You need a lot more of a lead on the map to try and pin them down in those team fights. For BLG, the team fights are not very easy. You've got a lot of conditional things that have to go right on finding the right target. Bin, having the bar to turn into that Mega Gnar. Very, very conditional. You can obviously make sure that you enter in a fight with a full bar. But again, you never know when the fights are going to break out from JDG. And BLG are looking for a dive.
Everyone's going to have first items now. We're going to be getting close to second items as well for some members. But everybody's going to be feeling a little bit stronger on the map. This is also going to be first turret for BLG. So some of that standing gold going their way as well as they get the reset out. Dragon is up in sub 30 seconds.
And I love seeing this phase from BLG where they play towards the side lanes. They've got Knight onto that bot lane, hammering the towers. Same thing with Bin on the other side. It was something that they were clearly lacking in the series versus LNG, and they seem to be finding their footing. Missing. It's going to be sitting on a ward right here, spotted by Elk. And the next objective coming up on the map is going to be that Ocean Dragon in about right now. He has spawned. You see the reset coming back from Yagao. The TP is probably going to get pulled in, and both teams are going to have to go at it again. Very importantly, Kanavi does have the flash. He's had some incredible engages when he has that flash onto that Lilia, so all eyes on him.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage on Yagao up here. Both of them have TP. Don't want to be too lacking of health if you want to go for the fight. The Rift Herald used as a distraction card effects here in the mid lane by BLG. Try to move over now to this Dragon Pit. This would be sole point for them as well.
Missing, shoved away, and JDG need to find a way to sneak back in. They do not have much vision. Missing could get caught out right here and isolated.
Solar Flare, that's going to be traded CC back. A decent amount of damage from the passive away there. BLG front and center. Elk for a big true shot barrage is going to be in trouble on the side. Ruler by himself over here. He is an immobile carry, and he is just the Jhin. Does still have the flash, going to pop the barrier there. JDG getting very antsy. Sheer looking for the deepest of flanks. He might actually find it. They don't know. He's not walking up just yet. Look at the damage from the Pyroclasm. Oh my goodness, JDG's health bars, they just can't hang. Sheer's already popped the dominance, but he has no way in.
JDG have to back off of this one. You're losing the Renekton ultimate right there. Ruler and Yagao, the only healthy ones on the side of JDG. Kanavi and Missing how to find a way in. When you're piling up through a choke point, it's so easy for Brian to just pretty much press R. Not even need to press any other spell. And with just a couple of bounces, you take a huge hit on the HP bars of JDG. 3 Dragons, very, very early soul coming up for BLG in about 5 minutes time, and JDG, unfortunately for them, they're gonna have to figure out a way to get into those river fights. They need to be faster rotating onto this map to try and get some vision for themselves.
And it's a stark contrast to what we've seen earlier in the series where Dragons have taken a back seat a lot of the time, but this time around, BLG knew if they want to get to that late game scaling we've talked so much about, they need to get some of these objectives under tow. Ruler going to keep pressuring there onto Elk, but now, speaking of pressure, turret falls to the top side, but Yagao, he's got to move that corky butt out of here or he's going to be in trouble as Knight and On have caught him out. He's going to burn the flash, gets CC'd anyways, and Knight claims that kill.
Missing and Kanavi were right on their way. I feel like if Yagao had potentially tried to play through the alcove, you did have 3 members of JDG moving towards the top side of the map. However, Yagao had a bounty on him. So it's definitely going to be extremely juicy for Knight to grab that one for himself. Ruler cannot defend. a mid lane tower versus 2 carries, and JDG are losing a lot of pressure on the map.
They are, and they just don't have the same strength from the double marksman that, say, another kind of carry would bring. Barrage. Not going to be enough. Kanavi making it out, but maybe missing. Not as lucky. Kanavi going to come try to save him. As Ruler comes over with the deadly flourish. They will not end up finding missing, but they will end up actually trying to take those turrets down. But BLG, they're looking to keep the tempo up. They're starting the Baron.
We're back, baby. BLG is back. This is the oppressive BLG that we knew over in spring. They'll take control of those side lanes, bleed their vision into your jungle, take a pick or force you back the low HP bar, and then take instantly an objective. Talking about a 3 minutes time, JDG have to figure out the puzzle on how to get into those river fights, how to unlock themselves into trying to get a potential pick. Ruler, a lot of these times has taken it upon himself to try and find pressure onto Elk constantly, but JDG have unfortunately not been able to capitalize in any other pressure. All that poke onto the edge, and if you look at the river, Kanavi's on his way up together with Missing. Ruler has started moving from the mid lane as well, and Yagao does have flash and W available. I feel like he could have potentially tried to pull a play through that alcove and allowing Kanavi Missing to reach that top side. It could have been a whole different story for JDG.
But all you have is what has happened. In all actuality, BLG have had consistent victories here, even though JDG have fought them tooth and nail for it. Now, we did look at mid lane. That was the flash from Ruler. As Shear's getting burned by way on the exit of this one. You have a tier 2 under threat by Knight, and really BLG are putting the pressure on across the map.
Yeah, they're trying to find water hoses because the whole map is on fire. Knight's pushing top, Elk's pushing mid. They're taking the flash off of Ruler. Meanwhile, you have been pressuring that bot side of the map. On the contrary, you need to get some vision because in around a minute and a half, the dragon's coming up. BLG are as suffocating as ever. And again, it's one of the biggest challenges they've had so far, playing up against the JDG that is sitting pretty comfortably top of the top of the Ascent group. And BLG would be making a statement. You mentioned it over and over again. BLG are behind in terms of series, so they will be catching up shortly. And by going 3-1, forcing JDG on a 4-2, they could potentially be reclaiming that top spot very shortly for themselves.
And you have to remember, for JDG, this Rumble stage has been one of dominance. Yes, they started off with a 2-0 loss to Weibo, but since then, it has been clean and very collected by JDG. Again, we've said the revenge split arc so many times because they were so upset about not making it to internationals, not making it to that finals in spring. And here, backs against the wall a little bit against the BLG that has now become their own version of a nightmare. You've got to find a way to dig themselves out of it.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a miraculous pick right here. All flashes up for BLG, but so are they for JDG, except for Ruler and Yagao. Again, I feel like we haven't necessarily heard Kanavi a lot in this particular game, and it's always a telltale. Whenever JDG is not doing well, you've not really heard the man's name. And I feel like Kanavi, he has been farming a storm. That is true. He's about 20 CS up onto way and about 400 gold. However, you're going to need a lot more than this. You're going to have to find the right targets, and if someone can do it, the man himself can. He pulled a 4-man flash queue all through the wall versus NIP to destroy them in just one team fight. That's all it took for them to finish the game. And versus BLG, you're definitely going to need more than that, but it's a start.
And how much reserve this game is compared to the other two that we've had. It just shows the amount of respect that these teams are giving each other. But now, respect is not going to get you anything unless you can deny this soul as it goes over to BLG. Half health here. Kanavi over the wall. They're going to have to try to get it. Oh, they get way with the solar play. They want to try to take him out of the fight. Deadly Flourish hits on Ruler. They need to get in the pit. Their way is already gone. There's no jungler available for the side of BLG, but they still take the fight, and it does not matter. Yagao, can he do it? He gets it. He denies the soul, but he'll give his life for it, and BLG will take all.
BLG don't care about the soul. They'll take the ace. Every single member of JDG is dead, and they'll head back to the Baron. The name of the game for them is taking your map and taking your lives, and they're doing both at once. incredible fight. Again, JDG had to find a miraculous engage. And I'm pretty sure that miraculous engage was right in the hands of Bin and Wei. Combining their combo right there. Wei gets caught by the Leona ultimate on Bin. The second Kanavi tries to flash past the wall. Just pins him back on top of it and takes him out. And this is that Fed Gnar we've been talking about since that early game. You play towards a wall, you pin against it, and you're dead.
And it really was just JDG trying to full-on funnel into Wei, and unfortunately, when you have a 4 carry style here with Ben having so much resources in his back pocket, it really is a case of a multi-headed Hydra that you just cannot deal with all of the heads. And now we're on 3 items for everyone, about to be at least on the side of BLG, specifically focusing on Knight and Elk.
And an Elk, the primary carries right here for BLG, even though Bin has done a lot of work. He's pretty much the only person with the highest gold difference between the two. They find on.
Weird combo there with the Zenith Blade and the headbutt back. Knight is collapsing here. Missing has no health bar left. Elk already takes him down. Now Kanavi, that's a golden state to try to deny Bin's engage, but the Magnard back. Kanavi's already down. A double kill has gone to Elk, and he's stepping up where Ruler's Void has been built. And now Yagao, he's punched on, and Knight gets him. Ruler, the only one left for JDG, and it's not looking pretty.
They don't have much HP bars, but they don't also have any enemies left in the base other than Ruler. Missing's gonna come back from the fountain right now, but it's a 2 versus 5 against a Baroned up BLG.
They could just go for it. The double hops, look at the synergy. BLG are jumping all over JDG, and they've got their backs against the ropes. Not since 2023 has JDG been able to take down BLG, and they won't find promise yet again in the continuation here. They might have the resets. They might actually be able to fight this one back, but the Mega Gnar, it's going to deny it. They get the TP back. BLG, if they win this fight, they win the game, and Sheer might have just kept himself way out, but on needs to be careful. This is multi-chain TPs coming out from JDG, and I'm getting recollections to that game number 1. They might get Bin. They got him with the deadly flares there. They can't follow up. Yagao flashing forward over the wall. Yagao going for the kills. Curtain call coming out on a Knight. Fourth shot not going to hit. Is it going to be enough? It's not. He gets the slow down. Yagao over the wall. The blast cone gets BLG to safety.
BLG are going to back off. They still have 2 Barons available to them. The true shot, it's not going to get anyone low enough for a kill. However, JDG have to run with their tails underneath their bodies right there, because their whole base is on fire. Super minions are hitting that one time. Guys, okay, we have Seer. He's backed off to defend that wave for a second right there. JDG are trying to push out every wave possible they can. This tower is literally 2 hits from dying. And let's have a look at this one more time. The engage auto on. He's so tanky. You see Bin right there with an entire rage bar completed. JDG in complete chaos mode, trying to find whatever pick shows up to them, but they get absolutely destroyed. Kanavi will get a pretty huge Q, but he will not be given time to press R on it before he hits the gray screen, and BLG are just continuously pressing the fact forward, taking every single tower. Now 6,000 gold in the lead, 6.5, almost 7. And BLG again through map pressure and side lane pressure. It's looking like they're back, and they're not going to let JDG make any miraculous comeback in this game.
And again, we go back to the domination JDG have had already in this Rumble stage, and BLG still trying to catch up in that regard, but it's also a JDG who felt so far from that trophy, and that BLG for the first time are the reigning LPL champions. And the fact that we've seen them kind of grit their teeth and bite down on this series, they are in the advantage right now, and Dragon's spawning up right as we speak.
JDG, you've got your flashes. Can you find the miraculous entry into this Dragon? And Dragon that's going down really fast. Kanavi, what are you going to do?
He's in a lot of trouble on at least. Now they're going to get the re-engage here, but Kanavi has gone in for a two-man lilting lullaby, but he's all by himself. Is the curtain call going to be enough? Kanavi's already gone now as well. Ruler's just sitting there trying to get a forced shot down on the way, but he can't do it. And Vince just picking apart the rest of the team. Into the choke points they go, and Knight, the golden left hand, he's stepping up. He wants the resets, he wants the kills, he wants Ruler, but it's gonna end up being Yagao that they find first. Bin finds the backline TP, and Sheer is down. JDG are down, and that's BLG, who will remain the nightmares of JDG, and they will remain the big brother in 2024 as they take down the last turret. It's on to the next set, and it's a 2-1 victory for Bilibili.
The stories of BLG's demise were greatly exaggerated, starting LPL summer in Group Ascent with a loss. LMG hit hard, but BLG comes back harder and takes down JDG. That one remaining piece of the puzzle that BLG could never find to get back into relevance, to get back onto JDG, to stop their streak. Knight, great performance, quiet, but great performance throughout the entire series. He's the guy that's talked about over and over and over again. Do you know when JDG's rule ended? When Knight left.
And this is a statement series, not only because this is a single round robin, but it is also going to be until playoffs if we even see a redemption match for JDG, if we even get that matchup on the side of the bracket. So it is